Frankly, this isn't one of the videos I intended to write anytime soon. In the past, I had seen it, but wasn't sure what I would do with it. Still not entirely sure what to do with it, but I guess that's what makes exploring these what-ifs fun, you know? The idea that Naruto is a girl doesn't change too much, as this shouldn't affect his skill level. I mean, compare Naruto to Sakura. If anything, it might make him a little stronger. But what it will change is his relationship with others. Being a girl, Naruto may find his previous desires in friends and mates to be a little different, as will he find his own actions may change a little bit. But how much might this affect the story? Well, I guess we're going to have to see now, won't we? Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed, and with that out of the way, let's get into the video. As Kushina laid there in labor, her screams and cries echoing through the labyrinthine tunnels that led to the room where she now proceeded to have her baby, a single eye peered in through the darkness. Minato was there, stabilizing the seal on her stomach as she pushed, diverting all of her chakra to the baby instead of the seal. A dangerous time for a woman was childbirth. Even more so was it dangerous for a woman who was also a Jinchuriki. The fear that something else may be born instead of the child persisted, and that fear had all in the room on edge. But eventually the child was born. "It's a girl!" they shouted. Minato and Kushina were both startled by the news. Kushina had been so sure it was going to be a boy, as had Minato. So much so that they hadn't even thought up a girl's name yet. Honestly, this was quite a mistake on their end. Minato and Kushina now knew that, but the new question pervaded their thoughts. What will we name her? As the baby was handed off to Kushina, the two of them remained silent in thought. That's when Kushina spoke. "What if we name her Naruko?" "Naruko?" Minato questioned. "Yeah, Naruko. The name can mean to reconcile or pacify. That's what we want from the child, right? For them to pacify the world and bring peace, just like in Jiraiya's book." Minato smiled. "That's a wonderful name." Before we continue though, I just want to get ahead of myself. So far, almost every time I've tried to say Naruko, I've almost said Naruto out of habit. So if I end up calling Naruko Naruto in the future or calling her Rehi, just know it's out of habit. With that, let's continue. The child was born with blonde hair like her father, but her face was definitely her mother's. But happiness was not something that would last forever here. I'm sure most of you are well acquainted with this story. You know what must happen next. From the shadows, a man came to take the child and threaten its life. Minato was quick to action, but this was just as the man had wanted. Kushina had always been his target, and so before Minato had the chance to react, the man had taken Kushina. From here, it's all history. The Nine-Tails escapes and runs amok in the village. Minato beats the man but cannot save Kushina, and in the end they both give their lives to seal it away into their baby. Before dying, Kushina offers a slight message to her baby girl. "Naruko, as you grow, things will get tough, but please remember to stay away from men who would force you to do things that aren't right. Stay pure until your marriage and keep away from drinking and gambling." Basically, don't grow up to be Tsunade, Minato chimed in. Kushina laughed a bit, even if it was excruciatingly painful to do so. "Yeah, don't grow up to be like Tsunade, but most of all, remember that we love you," Kushina said. From there, Minato began to seal the beast, taking half for himself and half he gave to the child. After this had happened and the claw that was holding their bodies together had been removed, the two fell over dead, leaving the little girl an orphan. Despite Hiruzen finding her and promising Minato to take care of her, the way he went about this was very hands-off. And as the child grew, she did so alone. No friends or family, only a silent guardian in Hiruzen, which wasn't enough. Lonesome, she craved friends, but due to her being the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, few parents let their own girls play with Naruko. And as for boys, because she was a girl, most of them tended to stay away from her because she was so dainty. However, in response to this, she became somewhat tomboyish, hoping to fit in with more of the guys, hoping one of them might get over their fear of cooties. Still, nobody did. Enter Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke was himself a very lonely child, having never expected the brother he held so near and dear to be capable of the kind of atrocities he'd partaken in. Completely and utterly alone, there was something in Naruko that he respected. She was of a similar situation, cut from a similar cloth, one would say. And so when she was alone, Sasuke was never far. Naruko's physical strength was tremendous. far greater than most girls her size. This was likely due to the nine tails within her. Naruto could handle herself in a fight, which was why Sasuke never jumped in. But all the same, he was there watching, just in case she couldn't handle it. This did occur one time. You see, she had faced many girls and boys in fights who so often would insult her or incur her wrath, and in most cases she won. That was until they all got together and decided to teach Naruto a lesson. Surrounded, she couldn't even get one swing in before being pushed around, punched, and knocked over. In an over-dramatic sort of way, Naruto would have exclaimed that this was the end of her. That was until Sasuke swooped in, fists flailing, knocking people on their rear ends. Taking advantage of the confusion, Naruto rose to her feet and began to fight back as well. The sudden turning of the tables changed the overly confident and brave hearts of the boys to cowardice, making them run for their lives. And as the boys ran from the scene, Sasuke considered following them until he looked back at Naruto's swollen face. "Wow, are you okay?" he asked, looking over the black eye and the bruising cut on her cheek that was bleeding. Naruto nodded that she was okay, but Sasuke could tell that she wasn't. He asked again, "Are you sure?" Naruto's expression changed as she shook her head and burst into tears. She fell onto Sasuke's shoulder, something he hadn't expected, and she continued to cry. Sasuke didn't move. This was awkward. So awkward. In a moment, the darkest part of his mind told him he shouldn't have stepped in at all and just let her get beat up so he wouldn't be in this position. But the better part of his mind silenced that. All the same, his mind was still in shock and he could neither speak nor move. She just continued to cry into his shoulder. "I don't understand it," she shouted, her voice muffled by Sasuke's rapidly moistening black shirt. "I don't get why nobody likes me. I tried to be dainty and girly so the other girls would like me, but none of them did. I tried to be boyish so that the boys could identify with me and be my friends, but all they wanted to do was pick on me. I tried to be helpful so the adults would smile at me, but all they ever did was tell me I was more trouble than I was worth and cast me out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. What's wrong with me? What makes people hate me?" Sasuke's heart was moved by Naruto's words. He spoke measuredly as to not let his emotions fly away with him. "You're not doing anything wrong. People are just a disappointment. People let you down. Friends are overrated." "But you have friends," she said. "You don't know what it's like to never have them. You're so popular." A touch of anger lit like a match in Sasuke's heart, but once again he quelled it in favor of a more cautious approach. "I don't have friends. I have hangers-on. I haven't had friends in a long time. I had friends once, a family, but they're all gone. The person in my household I trusted the most took that trust, betrayed it, and threw everything away. I don't have any friends because I can't have any. I can't bring myself to make new ones. They'll disappoint me. They always do." "That's sad," Naruto said. "I guess we're more alike than I thought. You do understand. I'm sorry." Whatever flame of anger that remained in Sasuke's heart had been smothered at this point. "It's okay. You'll find friends soon enough, Naruto. If that's what you really want, you'll find someone eventually. But be aware of what they can do to you. They can always betray you," he said before breaking free. Just a fair warning from one lonely person to another. He began to walk away, offering only a raised hand as a goodbye. Needless to say, Naruto began developing a crush. She couldn't explain it, but his face was handsome, his mind mysterious, his personality reserved, and his heart strong and focused on justice. It was like some modern knight in shining armor, or at least this is what she thought of him after this. So from that day forward, Naruto couldn't help but stare at the back of his head in class, very rarely paying attention to the lesson. Doodling Sasuke in her notebook. She almost failed class 3 times because she wasn't paying attention, but she managed to get a lucky break when she was convinced by a very evil shinobi to steal the Scroll of Seals, where Naruto would learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu. That shinobi would be caught, of course, but it wasn't without strife. Iruka had a few new permanent scars upon his body in his attempt to protect her. And from this, Naruto knew that maybe she had more friends than she thought. But due to this fiasco, Naruto was blessed to know a very powerful technique, and a very useful one so early in her career. With this technique, she was able to pass the test and become an official genin, where she'd be put on Team 7 under Kakashi. To her surprise, she ended up on the same team as Sasuke, which caused her heart to soar. But on the other side of him sat another girl. Naruto's brow furrowed. Sakura. Naruto had never had any real friends, but she did have the opposite, enemies. And Sakura was one of them. Her and Ino Yamanaka. These two girls were Naruto's rivals for Sasuke's affection. When Naruto realized that she wasn't the only one who found Sasuke attractive, and when those same people discovered the same about Naruto, a bitter rivalry began that insisted that there were things wrong with Naruto. Ino and Sakura were quick to throw insults at each other. Among them were ideas that Sakura's forehead was way too large, and what was wrong with Naruto was that she was indeed a tomboy. But beyond that, due to her dedication to growing stronger and developing to be a kunoichi, Naruto had worked out quite a bit, which had led her to developing more musculature than other girls. This led to many saying that she was too manly for Sasuke. Naruto and Sakura wanted to fire back at Ino, but honestly speaking, Ino was perfect. Beautiful in all measure, her eyes, hair, build, and everything about her screamed, "I will grow up to be a supermodel." And her personality had a certain fire in it that made both Sakura and Naruto feel as though they could never compete. But what was a girl to do? Give up on true love? No. It just caused Sakura and Naruto to focus more upon their own looks. Naruto would buy new clothes, something fairly effeminate yet sporty to allow her to do her job and look good while doing it. Something that kept with her orange look. She even bought a green hair clip that looked like a cartoonish fruit stem and began to wear tangerine-smelling perfume. That gave her cute points, but the sportiness of her outfit mixed with her above-average musculature would go quite well together. Ino was right. She did have a boyish look to her, but some guys admired that, and she hoped Sasuke was one of them. At this moment, she might have been behind, but she knew for sure when they hit their teenage years, and they had fully developed into the women they were going to be for the rest of their lives, Naruto would have a definite edge. That was the very outfit Naruto was wearing now as she walked in. Sakura, in a snide remark, would ask about how it was going to be good for them for Naruto to run around in such a bright orange outfit. Naruto would respond, "How's a vibrant red and pink gonna help us anyway?" Sakura, angered by these words, went silent and looked away. Naruto would take a seat on the other side of Sasuke. Now, to many guys out there, they would think, wow, Sasuke's so lucky. He's got like a million girls throwing themselves at his feet. But I caution you to reconsider. You see, Sasuke is not interested in romance right now, and to have romantic suitors always being flung in your direction, talking about how much they love you and want to marry you and stuff, it gets old really quickly. And to this end, the only thing that keeps him from flipping out is that he, even though he's rough around the edges, has a polite side to him, particularly when it comes to the way he treats ladies. The moment Kakashi stepped in and saw the way Naruto and Sakura were hugged onto him, yet scowling at each other, and the moment he saw Sasuke's face, he spoke. "I'm so sorry about the fate you've been met with." The introductions go fairly standard, except Naruto's introduction eerily matches Sakura's. This leads to an argument between Sakura and Naruto about who stole whose dreams. Sasuke covers his face in embarrassment. Realizing what he's going to go through, Kakashi looks over the balcony he's standing by. "I wonder if a fall from this height would kill me." As per the initiation everyone in the lineage of the first Hokage's team must go through, Kakashi decides to set up teamwork. However, he gets Sasuke in on the plan. It's obvious that the issue with this team is infighting due to selfish desires. There's only one way to be sure that this team would work out. As they stand there ready for the test, they're informed that the test has changed. Kakashi, pulling out a rope dart, throws it, wrapping it around Sasuke's throat and yanking him closer. "Hey, what are you doing?" Naruto asks. "I'm going to take Sasuke hostage," he says. "This will be your test. Rescue Sasuke before sunset, or I'll kill him." Sakura's eyes widen in terror, though Naruto simply smiles. "No, you won't. You can't do that." "Oh, I can't?" Kakashi questions. "Last I read in the Shinobi Handbook, a Jonin is free to do whatever he wants to make his genin into good shinobi. And if killing this little whelp is going to help me accomplish that, then maybe that's what it takes. Today, only 2 people will join my team. Sasuke is a distraction to you. Only one of you will be allowed to be on the team due to this, and if you both want to be on the team, Sasuke must die." Sakura began to smile as well. "You're being way too obvious, Kakashi-sensei. You're bluffing. You wouldn't kill Sasuke," she said. "Oh, I wouldn't?" Suddenly, Kakashi pulled a kunai from its sheath and drove it into Sasuke's stomach. Sasuke cried out. When the blade was removed, quite a bit of blood began to stain his shirt as blood began to drip from his mouth. Sasuke went silent as he gripped at the wound, yet only found more blood exiting from it. He hit his knees. Naruto and Sakura tried running to him, but stopped when Kakashi threw his kunai at their feet. Another step and everyone dies. The girls gulped as they listened to what Kakashi said. The only way all three of you walk out of this alive is if you defeat me in battle. So do so, and I will not only spare your lives, but I'll also let you be on my team. What do you say? Naruto and Sakura were silent, each possessing a deer in headlights look. Kakashi looked down. You might wanna hurry up. He's bleeding out a lot faster than I planned. I might have gone a little bit deeper than I'd hoped. Sakura and Naruto looked at each other with a nod before picking up the kunai at their feet. They rushed into battle against Kakashi, who began pushing them back with his speed and strength. Just let us take Sasuke and we'll be out of your hair, Sakura cried out as she cut Kakashi's attacks with her kunai. No. The only way to push someone past their limits is to press them up against an unbreakable wall. They'll call upon their fullest potential out of desperation. This is a lesson you only learned from experience. If Sasuke is going to see another sunrise, you must defeat me. As he pushed them back, they tried splitting up and going around. Whoever kept Kakashi's attention would continue the attack as the other would rush to Sasuke's side to stabilize him, hopefully. But Kakashi surprised them when he used his Shadow Clone Jutsu. But to Kakashi's surprise, Naruto could use more than Kakashi could. That being said, Kakashi's clones were stronger than Naruto's, meaning he only needed one to stand over Sasuke. As the girls faced off against Kakashi, Sasuke looked over to them, thick tears in his eyes as he strained in pain just to keep breathing. His blood-covered hand reached out toward them for a second before his eyes rolled up and they closed. Naruto saw this, and anger began to take hold. Much like her mother, she had inherited a feisty personality, which was now showing. But more than that, something deeper was boiling up. Her desperation had caused her to awaken a true demon. Naruto's hair began to wildly move like a Medusa, the lines on her cheeks deepening as a dark shadow began to move around her eyes. Her hair split into 9 thick strands, not too unlike the tails of the demon fox. Her eyes grew filled with rage as they took on the fox slits and red irises that did not belong to her. If Sasuke dies, you die too, she said with rage. In that moment, all of the shadow clones of Naruto disappeared. Sakura saw this and was startled, taking a step back. The very air around Naruto shifted and crackled, as if nature itself groaned at her presence in anticipation for the arrival of its destruction. Doom was present in this forest, and its name was Naruto. Rushing forward toward Kakashi, she attempted to bring Kakashi down, but Kakashi grabbed Naruto out of mid-air by her collar and threw her across the field. Doing so had left some slight burns upon his hand from the boiling chakra that was emanating from the girl. As she flew through the air, she landed on all fours like an animal before turning around. Kakashi diverted all of his attention to her. He had not anticipated awakening this. Suddenly, he began to realize it was a mistake to do this. Kakashi would be tackled by Sakura from behind. She tried desperately to stab him, but he grabbed her hand. Get off! You don't know what you're doing! He tried to raise his forehead protector to display his Sharingan, but before he could, his foot was grabbed and jerked by Naruto. Get Sasuke! She shouted at Sakura before pouncing on Kakashi himself. At this time, though, both girls were tackled off of Kakashi by someone else. They looked back to see that it was Sasuke. Naruto's power faded. Sasuke? Sasuke was huffing and puffing. Are you girls crazy? You almost killed him. But Sakura couldn't formulate a response. Sasuke quickly reached under his shirt and pulled an empty bag out and dropped it to the ground. It wasn't real, it was fake blood. Nobody was dying. It was a test to see if you two could ever work together. It was a test to show you the kind of things you'd experience in the shinobi world. So you're not dying? Naruto asked. No, idiot, I was never... Suddenly, a hand slapped Sasuke's cheek with enough force to cause him to buckle and fall on his rear end. Hitting the ground, he raised his own hand up to the stinging flesh as he tried to regather the thoughts his brain had just forgotten. He looked up at her. Naruto was beginning to cry. I thought you died. Maybe this was all just a joke and a game to you, but to me... And then you have the audacity to judge my reaction like it shouldn't matter, like I shouldn't care. You don't know how scared I was, how worked up I got. It was at this point that Sasuke noticed a slight bit of water rolling down the side of Naruto's leg. How could you do this to me, she asked. How could you do that to us, she demanded. I get the need to do some sort of test, but this went too far, she said. At that moment, she ripped her headband off her forehead and threw it at Sasuke's face before turning around and walking away. Sasuke was left in shock. At about that time, Sakura stood up. She removed her headband and tossed it at Sasuke's feet as well. Not cool, Sasuke, she said with an air of disappointment. Turning around, she walked away too. Naruto stood on a bridge overlooking a waterway, just crying. She was embarrassed, startled by the power she displayed. She had no idea where it came from, but she knew it wasn't hers, and she felt betrayed. It was at about this time that Sakura showed up behind her. "Naruto?" she asked. Naruto wiped her eyes and sniffed. "What do you want?" Sakura was silent for a moment and considered putting her hand on Naruto's shoulder, but resisted. "I just wanted to say that I'm sorry he did that." "What, you were in on it too?" Naruto asked. Sakura shook her head. "No, I was surprised too. I know what you felt. I felt it too. They crossed a line today. I understand that they were trying to teach us something, but I feel as though it was abusive. It's already hard enough being a woman in a male-dominated industry, like being a shinobi, to be surrounded by them, but it's embarrassing when things like this happen," she said, referring to how her emotions caused her to lose control of her bodily functions. "You've got a deep strength in you, Naruto. Not enough people see or appreciate it. I'm gonna have to walk home like this. People are gonna see it, and it'll just be another reason to talk bad about me, like they always do." Sakura finally put her hand on Naruto's shoulder. "If you want, you can come stop by my house. It's on the outskirts. My mom understands these sorts of things, and she won't think bad. I'll even go to your house for you and pick a new outfit." Naruto wiped her eyes and sniffed again. "It's okay. I can't ask you to go out of your way like that." Sakura smiled. "It's okay. Kunoichi gotta stick together." And so Sakura led Naruto to her house, where she introduced her to Mebuki. "Naruto, this is my mom. Pleasure to meet you, dear," she said. It was then that Mebuki knew that something had happened, just by looking at her puffy eyes. "Dearie, is everything all right?" Sakura nodded. "Our Jonin and classmate pulled a harsh prank on us without thinking. They thought it would help us become better shinobi, but all they did was hurt us and embarrass Naruto." "I see," Mebuki said with a bit of indignation hidden behind her eyes. "I'll have to speak with Hiruzen about this. Even if you are Kunoichi, a woman should not be treated as such. Will you watch over Naruto, Ma? I gotta head by her home and pick up a new outfit for her." "Of course. Come on, dear. Let's get you cleaned up." Sasuke stood there over Kakashi. "I think we screwed up, Sensei." Kakashi looked up at him with a half-closed eye. "Oh, you don't say. I was convinced that went swimmingly." "I hate that sarcasm fits you so well," Sasuke said with genuine annoyance. He helped Kakashi up. Kakashi picked up the 2 forehead protectors. "Maybe we did go a bit far. Like if it were genjutsu, that would be different, but we made it seem too real and on a subject that apparently hits close to home. I should have known Naruto would react like that. She's not had many people in her life she can call a friend besides me, and if I were to die, she'd be left with no one." "She needs to prepare for that possibility," Kakashi said. "There's always a chance a shinobi could die, and if you go, she needs to be ready to move on." Sasuke nodded. "We probably should have just told her that from the get-go. This was too much, I think." Kakashi sighed. "I suppose you're right. You should apologize," Kakashi said. "Why me? This was your plan." "You were the one who did the actual death scene. I told you to look wounded. I never said pretend to die on the spot. That's what they're upset with." Sasuke grunted. What was worse than Kakashi being sarcastic? It was when Kakashi was also right. "Fine, I'll do it, but I'm gonna say you're sorry too and quote you saying something stupid." "Fine by me. Whatever makes this better. I need them on this team, honestly." "Why?" Sasuke asked. "Well, you saw what Naruto did. Between you and me, she's got the 9 tails sealed inside of her." "Oh, well, that explains why everyone hates her." Kakashi nodded. "Yep, and the Hokage commissioned me to help her since I've got the Sharingan. If she ever acts out, I can pacify her before she harms herself or others." "So there was never any chance to fail?" "Oh, there was a chance to fail, but I would have excused you," Kakashi said. "This was a team-building exercise." "Yeah, because the team is so strong now," Sasuke said, holding up the discarded headbands. "Looks like sarcasm fits you well too," Kakashi said. "Now, go and make up with them." Sasuke had searched Konoha for them. On many occasions, he'd been stopped because of the fake blood on his shirt. He had to explain it wasn't real far too many times. Eventually, he tried Sakura's house. Knocking on the door, it was opened by Mebuki, who looked down her nose at the boy. "Sasuke," she said, letting her indignation speak for itself. "I take it Sakura and Naruto are here?" Mebuki was silent. "May I speak to them?" he asked. "I don't think they wish to speak to you right now," Mebuki said. "Oh no," Sakura said, coming from behind. "I definitely want to speak to him." Pushing past her mom, she spoke. "You dare show up here after the stunt you pulled? You think you're gonna talk to Naruto any time today? You're mistaken. I came to apologize, Sasuke said. The plan made sense at the time, but looking back on it, I understand that it crossed a big line. You think? Sakura said. Sasuke looked down at his stained shirt and then back up at Sakura. Yeah, I think so. Silence passed for a moment. Sakura tried shutting the door, but Sasuke put his foot in to stop it. Move the piggies before none of them go wee home ever again, Sakura said. Listen, I know neither of you want to see me right now, and I'll respect your decision, but please, take these back. He handed her the forehead protectors. I don't want you two throwing away your dreams just because me and Kakashi made a stupid plan. Sakura looked at the headbands for a second as Sasuke pushed them forward. Sakura sighed and took them. Now get out, she said, kicking his foot in the toes. Sasuke stepped back, gripping his foot, hopping on one leg. Ouch, 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 ouch. He looked back at the closed door and sighed. He turned around for a moment and began to walk away. That was until the door opened again. Sasuke, a voice said. Sasuke looked back and saw Naruto standing there in a nightgown. Apparently, she just decided to spend the night with Sakura. Sasuke turned back to her and spoke. Naruto, He stopped and looked down for a second, taking a breath to gather his thoughts. Look, what me and Kakashi did wasn't right. We went way too far, but we never intended to embarrass you or even scare you that bad. That was my bad acting getting in the way. We just wanted to make sure you two could put aside your differences and stop worrying over me long enough to do a job. Naruto stepped out a little closer to Sasuke. Sasuke looked away in embarrassment. You know, I was so scared you had died, she said as she touched the bloody stain on his shirt and sniffed her finger. What is this? She asked. Sweet and sour sauce. It's all we had at the time. Naruto giggled. Looking at it now, it doesn't even really look like blood. I guess I just didn't pick it up at the time. Sasuke's smile that had followed Naruto's giggle slowly dissipated again. I'm sorry, Naruto. I didn't mean to. Naruto put her finger to his lips. Shh, she said. I forgive you. She then pulled his chin in and kissed him. Sasuke was shocked at first, but a short moment later his eyes rolled up and his body seemed to relax as he accepted it. Darn it, Naruto, that's no fair, Sakura said. Cheater! Naruto looked back. Sorry, Sakura, but you snooze, you lose. And to think I went to your house to get you new underwear after you peed yourself, Naruto, Sakura shouted too loud and hoped someone might hear. Naruto looked back with a slight smile. Feel better now, Sakura? Sakura began to lean against the doorframe with a smile. Yeah, I guess I feel a little better, she said. But you better watch out. Friends or not, I'm coming to steal him away, she said. Naruto laughed. Good luck with that. She turned around and began to walk back into Sakura's house for the sleepover. Sasuke tried to follow her in, but Sakura stopped him with her hand. What are you, crazy? No boys allowed. She shut the door in Sasuke's face as she laughed like some villainess. Sasuke offered a bit of a smile and turned around and walked away. Sakura and Naruto enjoyed their sleepover, and the day thereafter they returned to the group. Everyone feeling happy? Kakashi asked. No one gonna try and kill me because of my mistake? Come on in, Sensei, Naruto said. Well, due to a stern letter from Ms. Mabuki Haruno, I have been instructed to treat you three better today. So instead of training or a mission, how about we just go and see a movie and then go out for dinner? After that, we can do whatever we want. And so that's exactly what they did. Having fun, the team slowly mended back together. All things being said, Kakashi was pleased by Naruto and Sakura. The way they reacted to the test he put out showed that even if they had a hard time handling the death of their friend, they still might be able to function without him. Their entire personalities had, up to that point, been based solely around Sasuke, but now it was different. They were acting as their own independent people. They had proven they could work together, even against Sasuke, which impressed Kakashi quite a bit. And as the days passed along, they were finding themselves growing closer and closer. But that's when word came down of a new mission to them. You see, the Chunin exams were well on their way and were to be hosted by Konoha this time around. And though Team 7 were not to be in the exams, it was up to them to help provide security. Finally, an actual mission, Naruto said. Not gonna lie, it feels good to actually have a chance to prove ourselves. Hopefully, nothing will happen that requires us to act, Sasuke said. As they patrolled Konoha to ensure that the influx of visitors wasn't interfering with the natural lives of others, they came across Kankuro and Temari, the former who was currently threatening the honorable grandmaster grandson of the third Hokage. Sasuke was quick to step in. "Put the kid down," he said. Kankuro, looking over at Sasuke, sensed a fight incoming. Tossing Konohamaru to the side, he turned his full attention to Sasuke. "You want to make something happen, pretty boy?" Kankuro asked. Sasuke stood there, ready to fight, and behind him Sakura and Naruto ready to back him up. It was then that a mysterious red-haired boy showed up. The aura he gave off was like that of a demon or the Grim Reaper. He felt like a cold wind, like death riding in on a dust cloud, a distant hurricane threatening a small, unprepared village on the coast. "Kankuro, that's enough." "No, I'm gonna kick his butt," Kankuro said. Suddenly, there was a shift in the air. It felt constricting, claustrophobic, like one suffocating underwater due to the whims of a kraken whose tentacle had begun to pull you down without hope of ever surfacing again. "Are you defying me, Kankuro?" Gaara asked. The color in Kankuro's face vanished as he swallowed the fear that had crept up to his throat. No, brother. If you ask me to let this go, I'll let it go." "Let it go, Kankuro." Kankuro turned around. "Then shall we be off then?" he asked. Gaara turned and walked away, leading his siblings. "That's so weird," Naruto said, thinking about what just happened. "That kid is eerie," Sakura said. "At least it ended peacefully. Someone go check on the honorable grandson." Naruto walked over to Konohamaru, whose face, despite attempting to be brave, was showing signs of tears welling up in his eyes. Moegi and Udon were nearby, trying to help him. Naruto knelt down. "Wow, you were so brave there, honorable grandson," she said. "I bet you were terrified." "No, I wasn't scared. I'm brave." Naruto chuckled. "Yes, you are. You're very brave. But do you know who the bravest person in the world is?" Konohamaru looked at her questioningly. Naruto smiled. "The person who can admit he's scared is the bravest of all." Konohamaru began to lose his composure and cried into the arms of Naruto. She lifted the boy up into her arms and walked back. "Oh dear, is the poor little thing okay?" Sakura asked. "Of course. You think someone like that can do anything to someone with Konohamaru's skill? Nah, he's just recovering from an overexertion of strength. He'll be fine very soon." Sasuke looked at him and the two other kids. "It's best if we escort them back to the Hokage." And so they'd bring the three children to Hiruzen. "Oh dear, what happened?" Hiruzen said as he rose from his seat and began to walk over to them. "Konohamaru was being so brave, Lord Third. You'd have been amazed. A couple of very strong shinobi were threatening him, but he kept his composure and didn't even flinch. He showed true bravery out there," Naruto said. "Oh, I don't doubt it. Konohamaru has the same genes in him as I do. I'd expect no less from the one who will replace me someday." Naruto knelt down. "Are you strong enough to stand?" she asked. "I am," he said. He stood there and wiped his eyes. "Sorry I cried. That's not the shinobi way. We're not supposed to show weakness in front of our enemies." Naruto offered a chuckle. "What? No, you didn't cry in front of them. You held it together until they left. That shows strength, and you showed even more strength by allowing us to see them. It shows that there's a fire inside of you burning that's trying to be the best you can be. I'm incredibly proud." "As am I," Hiruzen said. "A true shinobi's spirit," he continued. Konohamaru began to smile again. It wasn't a big deal. Not for an elite shinobi in training like myself." Udon and Moegi ran to him. "That was so cool, Konohamaru," they said. As they were busy talking, Hiruzen spoke. "That was very kind of you, Naruto. You have strong motherly instincts," he said. Naruto looked down with a smile and offered a slight bow. "It means a lot that you think so, Lord Third." Hiruzen turned and began to walk off. It was then that someone spoke. "Lord Third," a shinobi said as they ran into the room. Hiruzen looked over. "Yes?" "Reports have come in that 3 dead bodies have been discovered." Hiruzen looked at the shinobi and then back at the others. "Why don't you 3 go and check it out? I'll have Kakashi meet you there." Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke agreed and rushed off with the shinobi. Upon getting to the scene of the crime, they stood there over the bodies. Kakashi was already looking at them. "You kids might not want to look. What happened to their faces?" Naruto asked. Sasuke stroked his chin to hide how uncomfortable he was. "They're gone." Sakura turned around and puked. "Please don't barf on our evidence, Sakura," Kakashi said. "Who did this?" Sasuke asked. "That's the thing. We're not sure, but someone's here. In this village, and they're pretending to be Genin." "I think I've got an idea," Uncle Mitarashi said, "but you're not gonna like it." Due to the possible level of difficulty they were going to face in battle, Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura were sent away for their own protection. They were told that they were not to engage Orochimaru if they saw him, but just because they were told to stay away from Orochimaru, it didn't mean that Orochimaru would stay away from them. As they walked on a distant street, Orochimaru would make a detour to find them. Leading them into a dark alleyway that weaved around like a maze, he forced them into a fight. Orochimaru's pure killing intent was enough to stun Sasuke and Naruto, and even managed to take Sakura down. Naruto and Sasuke drew closer together to cover themselves and Sakura. "Why didn't you go down?" Sasuke asked. "I think it's because I've got the 9 tails, and its killing intent is greater." "But what about you?" she asked. Sasuke showed her his leg. Naruto's eyes widened. "You stabbed yourself." If I focus on the pain, the killing intent isn't so bad. Naruto looked back at Sakura and saw her laying there. We need to pull out all the stops or he'll kill Sakura. You don't have to tell me twice, Sasuke said. That Ninetales. Can you use its power at will, he asked. Naruto nodded. Ever since I awakened it, I can call upon it at will. Took some practice, but I can do it. I need you to do that then. You're gonna be the spearhead. Naruto nodded. I'll take point. You come in when I break his defense. Sasuke understood. Naruto would awaken her first Jinchuriki mode and would then rush in. Orochimaru was defensive, quickly learning their styles and limits as they fought. Naruto threw everything she could at Orochimaru. This had Orochimaru on the run, though Sasuke came in quickly from the side with a shuriken. Orochimaru grabbed one of the Naruto clones by the throat and held her up to catch the shuriken. The clone dissipated. As he drew closer to Sasuke, Naruto came at Orochimaru from behind. Naruto swung her hands like claws at Orochimaru, but he ducked under the attack and picked Naruto up and threw her at Sasuke. Disappointing Sasuke, relying on a girl to fight your battles. How disappointed Itachi would be. Don't listen to him, Sasuke, Naruto shouted. Let me ask, when Itachi inevitably comes looking for you, are you going to rely on Naruto to fight your battles for you? Sasuke stood there silent and gulped. You have no power of your own, but that could change. All it would take is a little mentorship from the right person. Naruto rushed at Orochimaru again and jumped into the air to slice him up. However, Orochimaru caught her by the throat and threw her to the ground. Looking down, he noticed the seal on her stomach peeking out from under her shirt. Exposing it, he smiled before placing a new seal on it. Naruto screamed as it burned like fire. Immediately afterward, though, the power, like a water faucet, had been turned off. No matter how much Naruto attempted to reawaken it, she couldn't. Laying there, she felt darkness overtaking her. She passed out. Sasuke, seeing this, rushed in at Orochimaru. Pushing Orochimaru back, the old snake dodged and attempted to retaliate. However, Sasuke had awakened his Sharingan and dodged the attack. This impressed Orochimaru. Even though Sasuke's strength was nothing compared to Naruto's, his speed and reactions were far greater. I wonder what you can do with more, Orochimaru asked. Sasuke kicked Orochimaru back and then weaved hand signs to fire a great fireball jutsu. As he did, he was sure that he had eaten up Orochimaru in the flames, but Orochimaru would appear behind him and bite him in the neck. Sasuke would stumble forward and fall to the ground, looking back. What did you? He spazzed out in pain. Orochimaru spoke. Consider that a token of my goodwill. Your power is great, but it's nothing compared to Itachi's. If you want any hope in defeating him, you'll need me. But I suppose that's up to you. Orochimaru disappeared. It was at about this time that Sakura was waking up. Seeing Naruto and Sasuke laid out, she began to panic. Naruto! Sasuke! She called for help. The two of them were brought to the hospital. They quickly identified the curse mark on Sasuke's neck and would seal it with the evil sealing method. They did not know that Naruto's seal had been tampered with. Naruto remained unconscious for some time due to the effects of the seal, but when she awakened, she began to explain what had happened. The doctors, understanding that her seal had been tampered with, would carefully search for clues as to how the seal had been affected and how to reverse it. Eventually, they managed to do so, but it did take some time. Sakura and Sasuke would come to her room as she was strapping her shoes on. How are you feeling, Naruto? Sasuke asked. She looked back. I should be asking you that. I'm fine. They managed to seal the curse mark on my neck easily, but your seal? Everyone was afraid it would deteriorate and let the Ninetales out. Are you okay? I'm fine, she said. Well, good. As it turns out, today is the last day of the Chunin exams. We were invited to go by the Hokage. We get to watch some of our classmates fight. If we hurry up, we might still make it, Sasuke said. And so they made their way to the Chunin exams, attending it not as guards, but instead as civilians. Having some time off was nice, but Naruto couldn't help but feel as though something bad was about to happen. Did they ever catch that maniac, she asked. I don't think so. Getting to the arena where the exams were taking place, they were there quick enough to see the most anticipated match of the whole third and final part, a battle between Neji and Gaara. But as the battle got underway, it would be interrupted by Kabuto, who would cast a genjutsu over the stadium, putting everyone, including Naruto, to sleep. Naruto would miss so much of what happened next. Sakura attempted to explain when she woke her up, but she was so frantic that it hardly made any sense. Naruto, you have to get up. Naruto shook her head. What happened? It's Sasuke. What happened to Sasuke? Naruto asked. I don't know. That Orochimaru guy attacked the Hokage, and Sasuke said he was gonna go help fight, but then I saw Sasuke fleeing away from the stadium with that Orochimaru guy. You gotta go after them. And so Naruto got up. Which way? That way, Sakura said. Naruto began racing in his direction. The chase went on for quite some time. Naruto began to wonder if she was even going in the right direction, but thanks to the power of the Nine Tails, she could sense their chakra nearby. As she continued to run, she came across the Valley of the End, where Sasuke and Orochimaru were waiting. "Wait!" she cried out. Orochimaru and Sasuke stopped and looked back at her. "Sasuke, what's going on?" "Go home, Naruto. You don't need to do this," he said. "Do what?" she asked. "What are you doing?" "He's coming with me," Orochimaru said with a sly smile. "No, Sasuke, you can't. I'll never defeat Itachi growing as I am. Even you're stronger than I am. But no more. I need to get stronger no matter what, or I'll never avenge my clan." "You don't have to do this, Sasuke. There are other ways to grow stronger." Orochimaru whispered into Sasuke's ear. "I'm going to go ahead. Catch up to me when you're done talking with your little girlfriend." Orochimaru left. Sasuke turned back toward Naruto. "I wish I could, Naruto, but Itachi was something special. I don't think I could ever match up to him on my own. And when he comes back, I'll need to fight him myself. I don't want to die, Naruto, and I don't want to fail my clan. This is the only way." "Sasuke, please! I love you," she shouted. This gave Sasuke pause for a moment as he measured within himself how much he reciprocated. In the end, he shrugged it off. He knew what he needed to do. Turning away from her, he spoke. "One day I will return when it's all finished. But until then, I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers, Naruto." Suddenly, as he prepared to leave, a hand gripped his. "If you go with him, you'll die. You can't trust him. He'll kill you." "I won't let that happen." "It won't be up to you," Naruto said. "You were my first friend before Sakura. My only friend. I've lived so long without friends, I can't go back to having none. You can't make me." "As you said, it won't be up to you," Sasuke said. He pulled his hand free. "Sasuke!" she cried out as he began to walk away. Don't make me beat some sense into you," she shouted. Sasuke stopped. Turning around, he looked at her. Running at her, she readied to be attacked, but only for him to stop. She looked at him. His face had softened. He smiled. Pressing his lips against hers, they kissed once more. Naruto, for but a brief moment, felt as though all her troubles melted away. As she opened her eyes again, her gaze caught a pair of Sharingan that so solemnly spun slowly. In that moment, she felt as though she were cast into a dark hole with no escape. "Sasuke!" she cried from the hole, but her lips couldn't move. The hole grew darker as her eyes closed. Sasuke laid her down gently by the bank of the water. Kneeling over her, he looked down upon her kindly. He took his necklace off and wrapped it around her hand. He kissed it and laid it gently upon her chest. He stood and then began to run off himself. "I will see you again one day, Naruto. And when I do, everything will be set right." And that's where I plan to end this for a while. What do you all think? Honestly, considering everything, if Naruto were a girl, it seems more than likely that the girl he became likely would have been shipped with Sasuke. It would have added a new level of intrigue to the story that would have made their story even deeper. I can see Naruto taking more after his mother if he were born a girl too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to let us know. What do you want to see in the next part? What other ideas do you have for what-ifs? What were your favorite parts? All these things, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos as they drop. And while you wait for these videos, check out these ones. I'm sure you'll like them. Anyway, until next time, peace out.